Hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. My name is Faiza and welcome back to my new video. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing 3 things that I've learned in my 20s that just make me do so much better in my 30s, and those things are so important and I'm going to be sharing them with you in today's video. I wish I applied these things sooner, but it's better late than never, of course. I also do want to add that it didn't happen overnight. It didn't take me a day, it didn't take me months. It took me a while to change myself to do better. When you're growing up, you're learning things a certain way and you've been brought up a certain way. It depends on your environmental factors, of course. Keep in mind that changes do not come overnight. Things that you had learned growing up, it took you years to learn, so don't expect these changes to come overnight. It will always take time. For some people it takes a little longer, and that's completely okay. For me, it took me years. I spent my 20s struggling to understand why I wasn't doing well mentally, why I didn't make these changes earlier. Now that I'm in my 30s, I do wish that I wasn't so hard on myself in my 20s, and even before that. I felt that I was always hard on myself because I felt that I always wanted to do better, but I was struggling to just find a way out of it. But guys, I am happy that I was able to go through that process to do better. And guys, before I get started with the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And guys, if you guys like the video, you guys can always leave that in the comments below that you guys want to see more of these videos, and I'll get myself right into that. So guys, let's get started with the video. So guys, let's get started with number one. Number one is never let rejection define you. That sounds very basic. I know you guys hear that a lot here and there, but believe me and hear me out. I struggled with interviews. I felt that I was always getting interviews, but I would never get the position. And I felt that I was always rejected by companies. The amount of rejections I had in a job, I mean, I wanted to cry at those times because I'm like, I'm going for all these interviews, but I'm not getting the job. It kind of came as a shock to me because I always did well academically. I was working part-time and I felt that I was doing well in a lot of areas. I had all the skills. I would actually get the interviews because I felt that I had the skills. I had like some experience, but when it came to job, I just felt that, or they felt that I wasn't the right fit for the company. And at that time, I used to cry because I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Where am I going wrong? I have all this resume, I have all the experience, I have all the education, and I was always interested in working in agencies, and I think that was my goal. But I came to realize that maybe that wasn't for me. I could have done much better in something else. So later on, I just started working at the bank, and I did much better there, guys. I didn't do well with the interviews when I was applying for the agencies, and that's okay. I saw that as a rejection at that time. I used to be like, why am I not getting the job? I have the experience. I have like, you know, I've done internships here and there on like minimum wages. I've also have really good education. I've also have some technical skills here and there, but why am I not getting it? Now when I look back at it, I see rejection as a redirection, really telling me that this is not for me and there's something better out there for me. And again, I ended up working at the bank, but I also wanted to do something on my own. I also wanted to start my own business. That rejection kind of pushed me to start my business. By the beginning of 2017, I'm like, this is not it. Maybe this is not for me. But I ended up getting a job in a bank anyway. But that kind of pushed me to also start my own business at the same time, guys. At this point, I have a lot of my monetization from content creation. This is what I do. This is what I do full time. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I've always enjoyed YouTube. I started on YouTube, but at the same time, Instagram was doing so well. So I wanted to jump on all social media platforms and do whatever I can. And I did. So guys, the moral of the story is never ever let rejection define you. See that as a good thing. If I wasn't rejected from those places, I wouldn't really push myself to do what I really wanted to do, which is what I'm doing right now. Second, you should see rejection as a redirection, really. You should redirect yourself to doing something else, because just because you're not getting that doesn't mean that you're not good at it. It just means there's something better out there for you. So guys, that was the biggest first thing I learned in my 20s. The second biggest thing that I did was take care of my mental health in my 20s. And you need to take care of your mental health to do better in every aspect of your life. Whether you're a mom, you have a partner, you're married, or you're working, you need to take care of your mental health to do better in all other areas of life. And I never understood that concept. When I talk about self-care, it doesn't mean that I'm spending a lot of time at the spa and just giving time to myself. No, that's not what it means. I guess that's like a little part of it, but that's not exactly what it means. Taking care of your mental health means setting boundaries and learning to say no. And that's one of the biggest things I had to learn in my 20s. I was overworked. I was a people pleaser because of that reason. I was always saying yes to people. I was saying yes to everyone because I thought I could handle it all. I was always getting hurt because when I was giving so much to another person, I wasn't getting anything in return. So that's when I started setting boundaries. When I say I was setting boundaries, I started saying no. When someone asked me, can you do this for me? I'm like, no, I do not have the time. I'm sorry, I can't do this. Or if someone asked me, they need something from me, I'm like, I can't do that right now. I don't have the time. I really didn't. And guys, this is me prioritizing myself over someone else's need. And I had to do that. I had so much going on in my own life, and I think I started realizing that once I had my son. I came out of a really, really bad pregnancy, and I realized that even when I had my son, there was so much expected of me, just to be right, just to do it right, just to never say no. I don't know what it was, but it was just so much that there came a point I just broke down completely. First couple of times I said no, there was a lot of backlash because people weren't used to me saying no to them. And when I was saying no, that doesn't mean I was saying no because there was a problem with them. I was saying no because that was me setting my boundaries because I just couldn't do it anymore. And the first couple of times I said it, it came off as something that was really wrong, and I was just hurting them, I was disobeying them, and it just didn't go well. It took a couple of years for the other people to understand that it's not going to happen their way. It's just not it. The thing is that you cannot control other people, but you can control your own actions, and you can start doing that by setting your own boundaries. You can learn to say no, and that's just all what you have to do. And it didn't really happen overnight. It took me years. Problem is, when you're setting boundaries, a lot of times you're setting boundaries with people who are close to you, and when you start doing that, the other people start seeing it as a threat. They start seeing it as a way that you're disobeying them, or things like that. And especially if you come from like a South Asian family, you won't understand that you say no, the other people take it as something that something really rude. But I had to do that. I had to do that for my own mental health because I was deteriorating. I was done. I was losing focus from a day-to-day basis. I had hit depression. It started from my postpartum depression, but it lasted for 3-4 years to come. And I just couldn't do better. I stopped cleaning the house. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was always depressed. I was always down. And at the same time, I was fighting. I was fighting to get out of it. I'm like, I have to do better. I have to do better for my son. I have to do better for my family. I just have to do better overall. But I can't do this unless I start setting boundaries. And I had to do that to do better for my mental health. And I did that. Again, it didn't come off right at first, but now when I look back at it 3-4 years later, people understand. Those who didn't understand at that time, they understand now. If it's a no from my side, it's gonna be a no the next time as well, because I cannot take other people's need and put them above mine. I cannot do that anymore because it affects me on a day-to-day basis. It affects my family, it affects my work, it affects everything around me. So that was very, very important for me. So in summary, you have to take care of yourself emotionally, psychologically, and physically. Taking care of your mental health not only helps you take care of your emotions, but it also helps you take care of yourself overall. That means psychologically, physically, you're just doing better overall. And I had to start doing that, and I did. And I'm so happy that I did because I'm doing so much better at this point. Guys, third and last would be quality over quantity always. Get away from people or get away from friends who are always bringing you down, who are always competing with you, who envy you, who bring you down, and who make fun of you. And I think that's the best way of putting it. In my teenager years, I had a lot of friends, and there were some friends who always brought me down, who always made me feel like I was not enough, I wasn't doing better for them, and they made me feel like I was childish. I didn't know what I was talking about. So I always wanted to be in media. I always wanted to do that was something that was related to media, whether it was like working for the TV, radio, but I ended up doing social media marketing, which is, I'm gonna say, a little bit similar to what I wanted to do. When I used to share my interests with these people, they thought I was being childish. They thought I was just being, I don't know what. And they always thought that I was, just childish. I don't know. I think that's the best way of putting it. They always brought me down. They didn't know what I was talking about. And then I had this one friend, which I thought was a really, really good friend, till I realized later on was just, she always envied me. She always put me down. She would always say things that brought me down, that made me feel like shit, that made me question myself. And she did that to make herself feel better. And I had that for a long, long time until I decided to drop her. And I realized that it was affecting me overall, because when you have that one close friend who doesn't mean well for you because she's not doing well in life, she'll do everything in her power to bring you down, to make you feel like you don't know what you're doing. And she did that. Every chance that she had, she would do that. And I felt that I gave so much in that friendship, only to realize that that person was not it. And I'm so happy that I moved away from that person. I'm doing better mentally, because you need to be around people who are always uplifting you, who always bring you up, who mean the well for you. Guys, at this point right now, I only socialize with people who I believe would support me, who would just like, cheer me on, and who are just there to uplift me. I think that's the best way of saying it. I have a lot of moms who are like, who have kids who are Mikhal's age, so I'm friends with them as well. But then again, when I see that they are giving me a negative energy, they're trying to envy me, they're trying to bring me down, they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing, and they're trying to cross that boundary that they shouldn't be crossing, that's when I distance myself away from them. You can never completely cut people out of your life. I've also learned that lesson as well. There are people in your family that you can't control, because they're gonna be the way they are, and you cannot control that. And there's always going to be people in your life that will always try to bring you down. And guys, as long as you're assertive with them, that you do not like these lines being crossed, they need to respect those boundaries, and they will eventually. And for me, I had to kind of like fight for that. I'm like, this is me, this is how I'm going to do things, and I don't want you interfering. And I had to say that a couple of times before that person kind of understood that this is how it's going to work going forward. And this is what I do now when it comes to choosing quality over quantity. This is what I mean when I say that always have more quality friends, and if you have people who are bringing you down, keep them at a distance or keep them far away if you can. So guys, these are the 3 tips that I wanted to share with you. These are the tips that I have taken to do better overall, and I'm so glad that I have. And guys, if you guys have any questions, or if you guys have any feedback, if you guys have any comments, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care guys. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to also check out my other social media channels, and give this video a thumbs up if you guys like the video. Until then, I'll see you guys next week. Take care guys. Bye.